Okay, so let's look at 4 and 5 from the Chapter 7 homework problems. Number 4 is really just something that we talked about in class. We did in this exact problem. Um, how do you know if something is growth or decay? Okay, well, if a and b are both positive numbers, the idea here is that you've got a times, and then you multiply it by a b, and then maybe by one more b, and then by another b, and however many b's you need, right? Because it's b to a power. So if b ends up being a number that's more than 1, then you're increasing how much you have. And if b ends up being a number that's between 0 and 1, then you're decreasing what you have. So really what you've got here is if b is greater than 1, then we get exponential growth. And if b is between 0 and 1, then we get exponential decay. Okay, so that's 4. And then 5, well, we can just look at this and figure out if it's growth or decay. This one, the 3/4, that base is less than 1. So this is going to be exponential decay. This one, 5 over 2, that's 2.5. So 5 over 2 is bigger than 1. So we're going to get exponential growth. Here the base is 4. 4 is definitely bigger than 1. So this is going to be exponential growth. And right here, 0.25 is less than 1. So that'll be decay, exponential decay. Then it says give the percent increase or decrease. Okay, so you might remember, like, we've done some problems, for example, like this, where it was I think we did some where there was a tuition of $4,000 and an increase by 6% every year. And so we would write that 1.06 because that's really the 100% plus the 0.06% increase. And so the percent increase was the 6% because we already started with the 100%. And then there was another problem. Well, what if it had actually decreased by 6%? And you would end up having a 0.94 in here. And so if you have a 0.94, the way to think of it is you had 100% and you decreased by 6%. So that's a 6% decrease instead when you see that 0.94. But the key in both cases is you start with 1 and you figure out what do you add or subtract from it to get the percent increase or decrease. So in this first one, that's, here, let me switch colors. This right here is 0.75. Well, that's really the 100% we started with minus 0.25. So that right there is a 25% decrease. So really what you've got here is 25% decrease. Because you're left with 75% of what you started with. In this one, 5.5 is really 2.5. Well, that's the 100% we started with plus another 1.5. 1.5 is 150%. So this is a 150% increase. Okay. Over here, well, that's a 4. That's really the 100% we started with, plus another 3. That's 300 more percent. So this is a 300% increase. And right here, we have a 0.25. Well, that's really 1 minus 0.75. That's the 100%. Minus 75% gives us the 25%. So it's actually a 75% decrease. If you're a little confused by how this works, well, imagine I said you had this kind of situation. You have $4,000, and I want to decrease by 75% the 4,000. Well, that means really take 100% and get rid of 75%. Or sorry, get rid of, 75%. So that means that the number inside is only 25%, 0.25. So that the 25 is not the decrease. The 75 that we took away actually is. So the idea is always start it with 1, and it's either plus the rate or minus the rate. That's it. Okay. All right, hope that helps a little bit.